I'm sure by now everyone's heard about how Roblox is immersed in a slew of lawsuits about how their platform perpetuates PDF-philia and exploitation of kids, and it really got me thinking, how did we get here? What happened to dedicated, safe online spaces for kids, like Club Penguin, Animal Jam, and horrors.com? If you haven't heard, Roblox, an advertised kids game that's been around since 2006, hosts user-created games while also selling in-game currency that can be used to buy many things, from cosmetics to extra lives. These games range from FPS to chat rooms and beyond. It was created in 2006, but really gained popularity starting in about 2012 when it was released on iOS. Since then, it has only grown and completely blew up again during the pandemic. However, during most of this time, and especially after the pandemic, it became a hotbed for PDFs. Blatant explicit content is shared, and adult chat rooms where minors hang out and are lured to have become widespread and normalized. The most disgusting thing I learned was kids actually advertising that they will trade and sell explicit pictures of themselves for Roblox currency. You're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that is really bad. Yeah, it is. But what's worse is Roblox has been ignoring this situation for years. A little context I should share is that Roblox went public in 2021 and has a current market cap of $92.10 billion at the time of recording. Totally random fact though. All of this came to a head when a content creator by the name of Schlepp was banned by Roblox after not being a PDF but exposing some of them and getting them arrested. It seems like profit has always been their number one over child exploitation. All of this is still ongoing, and there have been multiple lawsuits brought against Roblox for allowing this to happen on their platform. It seems although Roblox started out as a children's game, it's really morphed into an all-ages one, with barely any actual moderation. And as I thought about it, I couldn't think of any current popular games or online spaces that weren't an all-ages space. Fortnite, Minecraft, even social media like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hell, even YouTube, unless you put on YouTube Kids, which we'll come back to. Although Minecraft is still pretty good though. If we go back to the beginning of the internet, we can see kids weren't really thought about from the start. I'm not old enough to have lived in the early days of the internet, but even I know it wasn't really a safe space for kids to hang out. Once kids did start to wander around online, especially on games, it became clear to some creators that there needed to be a kid-first, safe game/space for them to congregate. This is where we start to see the rise of these virtual worlds. In 1999, Neopets was released. It was, and still is, a game where users own virtual pets and can use things like in-game currency to buy food, toys, and customize their animals. Neopets was originally intended for university students. However, by 2007, 80% of its users were under the age of 18. The median age of the site was around 14. And although it wasn't intended to be a kids game, I believe it launched this genre into the mainstream. By 2010, we had games like Toontown, Club Penguin, Animal Jam, Our World, Movie Star Planet, Free Realms, Pop Tropica, Pixie Hollow, Webkins, Wizard 101, Moshi Monsters, the list goes on. My big three were Club Penguin, Animal Jam, and Wizard 101. I spent so much time playing those games. These games were specifically designed with kids and tweens in mind to create a safe and fun space for them to exist. Most, if not all, of these games had some sort of restricted chat, and all of the cosmetics were kid-friendly. Although Our World and Movie Star Planet did have some more teen-centered clothing. The point is, these were MMOs where kids could exist on the internet without much fear of being taken advantage of. I'm not saying they were perfect, but a lot of these games were staples in teaching internet safety to both kids and parents. Club Penguin is a prime example of actively educating kids on what they should and shouldn't do on the internet. Their never share your real name or password, along with requiring a parent's email to create an account, was a great way to educate the kid and also still have parent supervision. They also had a section for parents to learn about the game and what their child was doing. In 2005, a lot of parents were skeptical of an online game for kids. Most of these games also had a restricted chat, as in there's a pre-scripted chat you can choose from, which was really annoying as a kid, but was actually a great moderation tool. Or they had an open chat, which was basically the ability to type freely, but still had major word restriction. It was funny to see how people would try and get around these to say edgy curse words and such. If I'm remembering correctly, a lot of these sites you had to get your parents' permission to actually use this open chat feature, as in your parents would have to log in to their section of your account to be able to open that open chat feature. Again, a pretty good way as a parent to be involved in what your young kid is doing on the internet. And these games were fun. I remember spending countless hours on Club Penguin, customizing my igloo, being a part of the Penguin Secret Agency, playing a lot of Card Jutsu and Pizza Maker. The same goes for Animal Jam and Wizard 101. I specifically remember this sand ocean puzzle game that I would actually spend hours playing on Animal Jam until my parents would have to yell at me to get off the family computer. So much time spent grinding to get the best house and clothing cosmetics, along with just progressing through parts of the game. Sorry to interrupt, but I must do the obligatory pause halfway through to persuade you to subscribing. I'm a small channel and could really use the support, so if you like this content or any of my other content, feel free to subscribe. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Actually, it wouldn't hurt either if you were to like, comment, and share this video. Okay, I'm done, I swear. These games weren't just all screen addiction though. They were educational. Animal Jam was specifically created in collaboration with National Geographic and always had fun facts about animals or different places in the world. I mean, it had a bunch of different biomes and would tell you little factoids about everything. They even had a trivia game. These were entertaining and educational games for kids that also provided a safe space. I actually remember there was this typing game on Club Penguin that would read you a story, but you had to type it out correctly first. What a great way to teach kids how to type. Unfortunately, as amazing as these games were, there's a reason we don't see them in the mainstream today. My mom had gotten the iPhone 3, I believe around 2009 or 10, and if there's one thing about being a kid around technology, they will find games no matter what. I mean, I remember finding and playing Purple Place before even learning about virtual world games, and when I got my hands on my mom's iPhone, it was over. I don't even remember how I did it, but I had downloaded probably some of the earliest iPhone games there were. I specifically remember this one little robot game where you had to get to the end of the level and then you could change the gravity and flip platforms. I don't even know what it was called. Throughout the years, as we know, mobile games took off. Angry Birds, Candy Crush, Subway Surfers, dare I mention Cookie Clicker? I thought that was the stupidest game ever. I was just starting middle school when Flappy Bird came out, and wow, you could not walk down the hall without hearing it. Everyone was playing it. And that's what companies noticed. People were shifting towards these free-to-play mobile games with ads rather than their browser games that mostly required a subscription. They fell, and they fell fast. By 2015, most of these virtual world games were visibly struggling, and in the next few years, a lot of them would shut down entirely. Club Penguin and Animal Jam tried to combat this by releasing apps of their own around 2013, 2015, but they weren't what was popular anymore. This was an interesting time because from 2010 to 2015, there was a huge rise in social media, like Instagram, Twitter, and Vine, and kids were also moving to these spaces, including me. Kids didn't need to play an online game to chat with people when they had social media and mobile games. And companies love this, an endless stream of eager viewers ready to watch their ads and get on each and every platform or game that they show. And this had become so much worse after the pandemic and rise of short-form videos. I could make an entire video on this, but the constant stream of content and advertisements being normalized is so scary. You're literally selling your time and attention to these companies and being dumbed down in the process. Unfortunately, with the rise of short-form videos and mobile games, we've also seen the rise in iPad kids. Kids constantly plugged into their iPads with little to no supervision from their parents. With the rise of AI, this has led to scary and downright gross AI videos being suggested and played for kids on YouTube Kids. There is no educational content or games because we've just given in to the need for kids to shut up and look at the screen. There are kids who literally don't know how to use a computer because they've grown up tapping a tablet screen. This has led to a vast decline in kids' attention spans as well as emotional regulation. Research has come out that screen addiction is actually an addiction. When kids have their tablets taken away, they actually show signs of withdrawal, like inability to regulate their emotions, and actually lose brain tissue. Our brains need to be challenged, educated, and exercised to function. I know a middle school teacher, and she has said that's the worst thing that's contributed to the loss of really the ability to learn. Attention span, listening skills, respect for authority, and caring about their grades, it all went downhill with the rise of iPad kids. She said that the kids that struggle the most in her class and actually have the most problems are the ones that she knows are plugged in all day. It seems like it really is this lack of supervision with technology that parents have allowed their, mind you, young kids to have. During the rise of social media, we developed things like cyberbullying, unhealthy body image, screen addiction, which largely affects kids. Kids are now existing in the same spaces as adults, on social media, popular games, when they're watching Twitch streamers. We're at the point where there are no dedicated kids-only spaces on the internet. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Roblox, which started as a kids game, now actively turns a blind eye to the predators on their platform, which creates a hotbed for abuse. Even a once kids game has turned into a co-age space that's not actually safe for kids. Same can be said about Fortnite. I mean, it's rated T for teen, but it's synonymous with kids now. I remember playing it when it first came out, and it felt like it was more teens and adults. But now there are so many kids. It really is just a co-age space. Because more and more kids are being born into the age of the internet, we've just assumed that they know how to navigate it on their own and don't need safety education like don't share your name or age, people are not who they say, you can be taken advantage of. I feel like there does need to be some cute sticky note warnings like in Club Penguin to remind these kids they should proceed through the internet with caution. Maybe it's not okay to share their nudes for Robux. And let's be real, a lot of this comes down to the parents, either not educating their kids or leaving them unsupervised for copious amounts of time online. Kids will get into things they're not supposed to, and it's up to the adults in their lives to actually do something about making sure they're not taken advantage of. And you know, some people have tried. In the UK, they've just started enforcing the Kids Online Safety Act that says it will censor inappropriate content for children. That content, however, ranges from period subreddits to actual porn. The gray area in between what constitutes as adult content can include some things that anyone under the age of 18 has a right to know, like the news or their favorite streamer who uses curse words sometimes. And the way they go about enforcing age verification is a bit creepy to those of us who've lived on an anonymous internet. Some of these companies say they will verify your age by facial age estimation, checking a person's age via their credit card provider, their bank or mobile phone network, photo ID matching, which is taking a picture of your passport or photo ID and checking it against a selfie, or a digital identity wallet that contains proof of age. I mean, most of our data is already out there, but blatantly asking for sensitive information like that? I don't know, I just think it's a bit creepy. I do think some of their measures are well-intentioned, like creating an under 18 account on Instagram, which will automatically have different content than an adult account, but it does make me wonder, with the rise of AI slop on YouTube Kids, will Instagram be heading that way? Okay, I might have rambled a bit too much at the end there, but you see my point. Overall, the internet is not a space kids should have free reign to. It should be used with supervision by parents or with preemptive education on what kids should be aware of. Maybe if we were able to bring some form of the virtual world back to the mainstream, we would have a safer and more fun space for kids to exist online.